Good afternoon. Let me just acknowledge there are a number of people that are going to be a part of this press conference today. Certainly want to start by acknowledging Vice Mayor Pro Tem Martha Castek Tatum, Councilmember Cisneros, Councilmember Pollard, Councilmember Sally Alcorn, Councilmember Cisneros, I think I mentioned. Am I missing anyone else? I think I got everyone. And then today, I'm going to have this with me today. Of course, it's Dr. Purse is here. Michael Heckman, the interim CEO of Houston FERS. Carolyn Wright with Southwest Solid Waste. Director Carol Haddock from Houston Public Works. Director Stephen Wright from Houston Parks and Rec. Director Takasha Francis from the Department of Neighborhoods was here. I mentioned Amy Reed with Keep Houston Beautiful, Philip Salerno with the Vice Chair of the Super Neighborhoods, Stacy Fairchild, Communications Director for Super Neighborhood Alliance. Let me say that the Houston Health Department today is reporting 230 new cases of COVID-19, 230 new cases, bringing Houston's total to 69,797. And sadly, we are also reporting 9 deaths as a result of COVID-19 today, and that brings Houston's total to 991. And when you look at the date of these deaths, they go back to June 23rd. There are 3 that are in July, and then you have several in August, and I believe there is only 1 coming in the month of September. Today we are going to address also, and then Dr. Purse will be with me when we wrap up and take questions at the end. Today we are also going to address another important issue related to COVID-19 pandemic, and that is the huge amount of face masks, gloves, and sanitizing wipes that are being discarded on our streets and sidewalks. Make no mistake, the use of proper personal protective equipment like masks, gloves, sanitizer is critically important in the fight against the spread of COVID-19. In fact, the head of the U.S. Centers for Disease Control and Prevention told lawmakers today that face coverings are the most powerful public health tool the nation has against the coronavirus and might even provide better protection against it than a vaccine. By wearing PPEs, we have been able to lower the positivity rate in the city of Houston to 6.1% and protect each other from the virus. So I want to thank everyone from individuals to our businesses and retailers and faith-based organizations who are doing their part. But Houston, we do have a problem, a PPE litter problem, in addition to other litter besides PPEs. Every day, thousands, if not millions, of disposable masks, gloves, and sanitizer bottles are used and improperly discarded and disposed. And today, we are kicking off a new anti-litter campaign. Don't let Houston go to waste because litter is trashy. So don't let Houston go to waste because litter is trashy. You will start to see a lot of those 2 slogans throughout the city, and they will serve as a constant reminders that while we are crushing the curve of COVID-19, we must also stop littering, stop trashing our city. And I want to give a great deal of credit for Houston FERS, Michael Heckman, and his staff for helping to come up with the slogan and the logo. Don't let Houston go to waste because litter is trashy. But Houston is not alone. Cities across the nation are experiencing unbelievable amounts of public PPE litter, but it's not just PPE litter that is increasing on our streets and sidewalks. With more people working from home, they are cleaning out closets and garages and decluttering, and Carolyn Wright from Solid Waste can certainly speak to that. And sometimes they leave the piles for heavy trash day but sometimes people are illegally dumping heavy trash. And we must work together to don't let Houston go to waste, and remember, litter is trashy. There's another cause of litter in our city. As more people enjoy takeout from their favorite restaurants, they are also throwing out leftovers and containers. And we are seeing and getting complaints almost on a daily basis. Takeout, food waste thrown from cars, left in parks, or at transit station centers, life litter in public spaces while families enjoy parks, hike and bike trails, and public waterways. And Steve Wright, Director of Parks and Recs, can certainly speak to that. Increase illegal dumping due to stay-home measures in place of families self-evicting or moving, and the people with super neighborhoods can speak about that. And I've also asked Vice Mayor Pro Tem Martha Castek Tatum to lead our anti-litter effort for our beautiful city. And this is a citywide effort. I know she's a district council member, but her passion on this subject speaks for itself. And when we were looking to find a champion to lead this citywide initiative, we can think of no better choice than Vice Mayor Pro Tem Martha Castek Tatum. The campaign is necessary because as a green city, we must do everything we can to protect our nearly 40,000 acres of park lands, 380 developed parks, and 167 green spaces. The goal of the anti-litter campaign under Vice Mayor's leadership is as follows: to combat, reduce, and extinguish the behaviors which have led us to where we are today in our city, to educate and train our neighborhoods, and to leverage partner resources, whether financial or human capital, and to do everything we can within our abilities to reduce substantially the amount of litter that we find on our streets, in our parks, and in our neighborhoods. Joining the Vice Mayor will be the following city departments and agencies. Solid Waste Management Department, the Houston Parks and Recreation Department, Keep Houston Beautiful, Houston Public Works Department, Department of Neighborhoods, Houston Airport Systems, the Houston Police Department, Houston First Corporation, the Houston Apartment Association, the Greater Houston Partnership, the various city TERS and management districts, Metro, the Super Neighborhood Alliance, the Retailers Association, Texas, and the Greater Houston area. Wherever you go in our city. And we have number one, we have a beautiful city. And we want to keep it, as I heard today in City Council, green and clean. And in order for that to happen, it's going to require all of us. And even though we're going through this coronavirus, it doesn't necessarily mean that we have to have a city that is full of litter. Litter is trashy. And we have the ability to clean it up. And so I am honored and delighted, ecstatic that Vice Mayor Pro Tem Martha Castek Tatum will give leadership to this anti-litter campaign. Vice Mayor Pro Tem.
Thank you, Mayor Turner, and to the council members and all of our partners here today. Thank you for acknowledging the need for this anti-litter campaign. Special thanks to Houston First marketing team with the speedy production and understanding our urgency for this campaign. Do you love the visual? I do. Will you go back to the very first visual? I love the visual. I'm very proud of the comprehensive messaging. If you'll see, our campaign slogan is "Don't let Houston go to waste," with the play on waste, of course. Litter is trashy. It really is. But I love do the PPE 1, 2, 3. Do the PPE 1, 2, 3. It's memorable. Number one is to make sure that we are wearing our PPE and disposing of it properly. Number two, make sure that we are social distancing. And then, of course, number three, let's stop the spread. So it is a comprehensive message of not letting Houston go to waste. And I think we can all stand behind that comprehensive message. We have all noticed the significant increase in the amount of litter in and around our city. The mayor cited so many of our concerns, with residents staying home for longer periods of time, increased takeout and deliveries. We've all increased our deliveries at home. And the vast need for PPEs during this public health emergency. We must address this uptick in illegal dumping, litter in our parks, our parking lots of our retail stores and businesses, along our city right-of-ways, our esplanades, our bus stops, our transit centers, on our streets, and being washed into our storm drains and waterways. Quite frankly, the abundance of COVID waste, as it's being called around the state and the nation, is being found in places we don't want it in our city. We have to sound the alarm on this issue and encourage Houstonians to join us in taking action. The Don't Let Houston Go to Waste campaign is our opportunity to encourage Houstonians to engage and take an active role in keeping our city, our community, our neighborhoods, and our parks safe and clean. We cannot do this alone. Today, as we introduce this campaign, we're asking everyone, when you are done with your disposable mask, your plastic gloves, your sanitizer bottles, your takeout containers, your wipes, your paper towels, and all waste for that matter, do the right thing and dispose of it properly. Drive your trash home. Over half of the litter accumulated on our streets are items discarded out of vehicles. Houston, we deserve better. We deserve to be a litterless city. Don't let Houston go to waste. Do the PPE 1, 2, 3. Litter is trashy. As we continue to promote our anti-litter campaign, we will be working with all of our council members who I'm sure can identify problem areas in their district and around the city to make sure we are picking up the illegal dumping in our communities. We have programs lined up to partner with the Department of Neighborhoods and our super neighborhoods. We'll have pickers and we'll be encouraging our residents to pick up the trash in their neighborhoods, in their local parks, and keep their immediate areas as clean as we can. The Solid Waste Department and Keep Houston Beautiful will be assisting with our cleanup efforts. And we've also listed the Public Works Department, Houston Airport System, the Police Department, Houston First, Houston Apartment Association. We definitely want to engage all of the tenants in our apartments to make sure we're keeping our areas clean. The Greater Houston Partnership, we cannot forget our Tourism Management District, but most importantly, the residents of Houston to work with us. And we hope to add many more partners to this ongoing endeavor. The amount of money we are spending picking up excess litter in our city is being spent at the detriment of more meaningful programs and services for Houstonians. It is my hope that this campaign and all of our collective efforts will uplift, improve, and make our city better so that we can leave a better city for our future generations of Houstonians. Let's not let Houston go to waste. Finally, Mayor, I do want to thank Larry Chenier and Juvenile Robles and Chris Carroll from our Green Space Management Division. They oversee the maintenance of our parks and our esplanades for being here, and everyone who has participated in picking up any litter, any trash, and making any efforts to make sure we are clean and green in Houston. We definitely need all hands on deck. Thank you all for participating and being willing to participate. I'll be calling on each and every one of you as we continue our efforts to not let Houston go to waste.
Thank you, Vice Mayor Pro Tem. We're all in the Army now. At this time, let me call up Amy Reed with Keep Houston Beautiful, who knows the importance of this campaign. Amy.
Thank you, Mayor. Good afternoon, everybody. We all know that as Houstonians, there is no other place that we would rather live, work, or play. And we also know that we face certain challenges as one of the fastest and most progressive growing cities in the entire country. So we accept those challenges and we partner with community groups to take care of some of those needs. But one thing that we do know for certain in our industry, litter is 100% preventable. We have a slogan that we say, and it might not always be the nicest one, but it's very certainly true. Trash attracts trash. So when you're visiting one of the most beautiful parks that we have here in Houston, in fact, I have so many favorites, I can't even name them all at this time, or you're strolling through the neighborhood with your family, or walking out of a local hospital to visit a loved one, or even just shopping at your favorite store, it might only seem like one glove that hits the ground. It might only seem like just that mask that flew away. Or maybe you're so excited you've had enough time at home that you've cleaned out the garage finally after 15 years and you're going to leave it on the curb. Those things are preventable because when somebody sees that on the ground, what they see is that it is acceptable to throw their trash right there with you. And that is unacceptable as Houstonians. So when you visit one of these beautiful places that you love to go to or have to go to, we ask, leave it like you love it. Don't trash our city. At Keep Houston Beautiful, we often say that the theme line, I think, for all of us is that we keep Houston beautiful. We're not talking just about the people who work there or some of our volunteers. That's an invitation for every single Houstonian to join us because this is our home and we want to keep it the cleanest and greenest so that anybody who comes through Houston, they just don't want to leave. Thank you for joining us in this effort, and we know that together, we keep Houston beautiful.
Thank you, Amy, well said. Let me also acknowledge the fact that Director Hayes, who's over solid waste, is not with us today. He is in Arkansas with his family. For those who don't know, and I know he doesn't mind me saying this, his father passed over the weekend, 95 years of age. And so Harry is with his family, and we want to certainly extend to him and his entire family our thoughts and prayers. But representing the department today is Carolyn Wright, who is a veteran in that department in herself and can certainly speak from Solid Waste Department's perspective. Carolyn Wright.
Thank you, Mayor Turner, and I'm happy to be here this afternoon. On behalf of Director Hayes, we want to give a big thanks to Vice Mayor Pro Tem Castek Tatum for accepting the leadership role of the Houston Anti-Litter campaign. And certainly we thank you, Mayor Turner, for tapping the Vice Mayor, who has been a strong proponent and tireless worker for clean neighborhoods, parks, and streets. We want you to know that the Solid Waste Department looks forward to working in collaboration with Vice Mayor Pro Tem Castek Tatum and all our partners tackling this issue. Our team has obviously been at the forefront of providing necessary public health and safety services since the onset of the pandemic. Our customers' adjusted life and work cycles have not lessened the need for solid waste services. It has been quite the opposite. We have seen volumes and waste increasing in all collection programs as a result of COVID-19. And while it is unfortunate that a few people have been irresponsible handling their waste, we know that the overwhelming majority of Houstonians value a clean, litter-free city. So, Vice Mayor Pro Tem Castek Tatum, Mayor Turner, and all partners, we are on board, and Solid Waste joined with the same message. Don't let Houston go to waste because litter is trashy. Thank you.
Thanks, Carolyn. And also, we know we have some beautiful, beautiful parks in our city. And I certainly want to acknowledge all of the employees of Houston Park and Rec. If you're an employee of Houston Park and Rec, just kind of raise your hand and stand up so I can see you. Look, really appreciate them. They do an outstanding job. And so appreciate every one of them. But representing the department is Director Steve Wright. And I think he can attest to where we are in this fight. Oh, about the same height, you know. So let me bring up Director Wright, please.
Mayor Turner, thank you. I appreciate that. On behalf of the Parks and Rec Department, we're really ecstatic about the mayor allowing the opportunity to make this a citywide campaign. For those that have worked alongside me long enough, I'm a storyteller, love to tell a story. 9 years old, grew up over there on the northeast side of town, over on Little York Road. My dad was picking up my three brothers and I from school, and we're driving home. I rolled down the window because I'm chewing some bubble gum, and I spit the bubble gum out the window. My dad pulls over on the side of the road and said, "Go get that piece of gum." I'm 9 years old, all right? So I get out, go pick a piece of gun, Dad leaves. So I stayed on the side of the road, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, started crying. Dad wasn't coming back. Made me walk home, about 5 miles. 9 years old, walk home, never forgot it. These things that we leave in these parks, on these streets, please, they don't belong to our department. We gather almost 200,000 bags of trash in our parks per year. We collect trash in our parks 7 days a week. We de-litter these parks 2 to 3 days per week. And I rest assured, and I'm pretty confident that all that trash isn't put there by the people that are removing it. So we have a saying at Parks and Rec, please, if you bring it in the park, please take it back out of the park with you. So on behalf of the Parks and Rec Department, City of Houston, this is a shared problem. It'll take shared solutions, and we want to thank everybody for their help. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Director Wright. And Public Works, of course, is all over the city. And representing this Public Works is Director Carol Haddock.
Thank you, Mayor. And believe me, you couldn't have chose a better advocate for anti-littering and Mayor Pro Tem, Vice Mayor Pro Tem Castic-Statham. She calls me routinely to talk about the things that are left in ditches in her district and what we're going to do to partner with her to help make sure the community understands. Public Works is the downstream end of much of this. We receive it in our storm sewers. We receive it in our open ditches. We receive it whenever it's been left in other areas and blown into those things. And it's not just a simple inconvenience. These things can actually clog these drains. They can clog these inlets. They can actually contribute to flooding when we have the next rainstorm. And so we ask that you think beyond the initial impact of the visual of the litter on the street, which is unacceptable, to you may actually be impacting your neighbor by causing flooding that impacts their home. So we ask you to think about that, but we also ask you whenever you're picking up this PPE or not putting it down in the first place, that you also remember that the right place is in the trash. We don't want this flushed down toilets because it will also clog up the pipes that our toilets go to. We are the downstream receiver of all of this waste, so let's make sure that the waste goes in the proper place, and let's not let Houston go to waste. Take it and put it in the trash can and let solid waste do its thing to make sure that it gets out of our city and is not on our streets and is not in our pipes. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Director Wright. And of course, it all goes to the neighborhoods. And so the Department of Neighborhoods is represented by Takasha Francis because we're trying to keep them clean and green.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor. It's a beautiful day. Don't let Houston go to waste. The Department of Neighborhoods is so excited about this anti-litter campaign, which is going to be spearheaded by Vice Mayor Pro Tem Castic-Statham, because our neighborhoods are our lives. These are our communities. These are the places we live, work, and play every day. And every time you see trash in your street, it's an indictment not only on your feelings, but also on the neighborhood you live in. And as you all know us very well, if there are environmental hazards in your neighborhood, we'll be there with our yellow signs. So we want to make sure that in this moment you remember that your neighborhood is the most important part of your life. Take ownership. We're going to be working with our Super Neighborhood Alliance and the super neighborhoods that are in your area to schedule cleanups and other opportunities where you can take an individual responsibility and bring collective and transformative change in your neighborhoods. So we're ready to go because litter is trashy and we will not let Houston go to waste.
Let's not let Houston go. The wrong key. I'll try that again after I bring up Michael Heckman from Houston first on tourism. Why it's so important to keep our city clean and green. Michael Heckman, and again, let me thank Houston First for the design and coming up with the slogan. And Mike.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. I do not have a jingle, sorry. But thank you for your leadership in highlighting this very important issue. I can also say that in my conversations with the Vice Mayor Pro Tem, her enthusiasm and passion is infectious about this topic. And at Houston First, with the responsibility of promoting and marketing Houston all over the world, and making sure that people understand that Houston is the greatest city in the world, this is a very important topic. It's not just important for Houstonians. We want all visitors, when they come here and visit our beautiful city, to not see trash, to be able to see our green spaces and all the wonderful things and the wonderful Houstonians that we have here. So it's an important issue for tourism, for our visitors that are here. Houston First could not be happier to collaborate, support this in any way that we can. Thank you.
Thanks, Mike. And then, of course, the neighborhoods, that's where the rubber meets the road. That's where our people live. When they return from their jobs, they're going home. And so let me bring up Philip Salerno, who is the vice chair of our Super Neighborhood Alliance.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And the Super Neighborhood Alliance looks forward to working with the mayor and the council on this campaign. The Super Neighborhood Alliance and the individual super neighborhood councils all experience this in their neighborhoods. Personally, I have a lot of experience with this littering. My individual community spends thousands of dollars every year cleaning up illegal dumping and litter. So we look forward to working with the campaign, with the mayor and the city council, and let's keep Houston clean, and litter is trashy.
Thanks, Philip. And I certainly want to acknowledge Stacey Fairchild, who is with him today. So thank you, Stacey. Stacey is the communication director for the Super Neighborhood Alliance. So look, that's Don't Let Houston Go to Waste. The anti-litter campaign starts as of today. And again, I want to thank Vice Mayor Pro Tem Martha Castek Tatum for giving leadership, and quite frankly, all the city council members for joining in to make this happen. But without you, we cannot be successful. So we're all in this army now, so please, 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 wherever you are, pick up the trash in your neighborhood, pick up the trash, encourage people not to throw trash out of their windows, clean up our parks, our bayous, and just the places right around your home and in your neighborhood. If you clean it up on your street, we'll have it's already a beautiful city, but let's make it even more beautiful.